Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
We continue. I'm actually impressed with you more and more when I see the new guests come on the air with us. Like, you have a cadre of guests. How do you do it, Greg?
It's tough. It would kill a lesser man.
Well, speaking of lesser men, there's Mike Costa. Thank you very much. Great to have you along. Welcome to Bloomberg Financiero, our latest affiliate here on the Big Biz Show. I am happy to introduce once again our good friend Ben Errez. Let me tell you why I like Ben. Remember that high school teacher that you always thought you were in trouble with?
Yeah.
Yes. When he walks in the room, nothing?
No.
No. Right. I feel like Ben's the adult supervision when Howie's not here.
But then he turns out to be super cool.
No, he's super cool.
So then you're right.
Yeah, he's been in several movies, as you can see.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Ben,
I was at LD Micro last year, and someone was telling me I look like a retired hitman.
Why retire?
The reason we stopped talking is because, that's a hard yes. You do actually look like in every Liam Neeson movie. Let's talk about LD. Let's start with LD Micro because we've cut our teeth through Roth Capital Conference, LD Micro. These are conferences where not investors have the opportunity, but companies have the opportunity to connect with their shareholders and also connect with potential investors.
Correct.
And these go on annually, but at first it was like, okay, we're going to do dog, but they're really important now, aren't they?
They're super important.
Talk about
it. I just came out of one, HCW.
HC Wainwright.
Yeah, which is an amazing outfit. By the way, your buddies, Foreigner, were there for a private concert at the end of the day one.
Remember Lee Graham, the lead singer of Foreigner?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the song Head Knocker, Mike? Head Knocker! Remember that? Cold as Ice? Maybe your first marriage. Maybe if your first marriage reminds you of somebody.
Odd-blooded.
Yeah.
Odd-blooded. There's my first
marriage. By the way, it's called Lou. His name's Lou Graham. Sorry, I'm 90.
Sorry.
So it's interesting when they do these, though, because there is a confluence of investors and companies, and there usually is some sort of benefit out of that, whether it's a deal or better trading or whatever.
Right. We meet a lot of investors, a lot of shareholders. I normally do a presentation, followed by Q&A, and then my average is about 16 one-on-ones.
So when you do a presentation, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't in the coffee room, Bill Gates was in the coffee room with him at one point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they were eating Hot Pockets or something because you worked with Bill Gates at some point.
I did. Right. Yeah.
Nothing like seeing Bill Gates burn his lip on a Hot Pocket.
Bill is the burger guy.
But
he likes burgers.
But when you talk to the average investor, even the investment banker, you have to presuppose that they don't understand this new thing called video, or this new thing called computers. No, like
CDs.
Right. Like at the same time, it's like, oh, here we go again. Well, you see, there's this and there's this down here. How do you get to the point? Because your company is so far beyond the infrastructure, blockchain, and the digital currency. You're talking about changing economies with the way that we transact everything. How do you start that presentation?
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, but you asked me that question. I don't know, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah. I can't remember
And
yesterday.
I gave you exactly. And I gave you my magic bullet.
Yeah.
And that is always use an analogy. And remember, Russ was here.
Oh, I do. This
Right?
is a
Oh,
yeah,
Ferrari.
thanks for bringing that up.
This
One
was
more
a
thing.
Ferrari. Right.
Yes.
I remember this. The
So
Ferrari.
you know, I use analogies. It's the easiest way to get the message across. People get it. Maybe they don't understand blockchain, but they have seen Ferraris before. And if you can transact on that with this special method, they get this.
But do you also get people on the converse that know exactly what you're all about and know exactly what you're doing and like you're the brass ring that I want to attach myself to?
Yeah, I do. You'd be surprised that none of them are from the government.
Yeah.
Shocker.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to say this because, and I'm going to let you off your leash in a minute here because what you guys are doing is truly remarkable. But I think the real thing here is if you look at what's happening in the abusive short selling going on in the public markets, it's going to change the way we trade stock. It's going to change derivatives. Once these guys get caught, which I believe they will, it's also the same thing with digital currency. Now, you remember when we took a checkbook out at the Vaughn's line? I got to see 2 forms of ID here, and so I haven't even seen a check. When's the last time you saw a check? It's not going on like a light switch, but this is happening, where suddenly it's, oh, by the way, we don't have, you're not depositing actual cash here. We're converting your cash, much like a stock, much like a broker dealer. We're converting into a money fund. We're converting your cash into digital currency. That's coming.
Of course.
So, and if it goes the way you think it goes, it's coming because it has to go, because otherwise the economy is going to collapse based upon the existing fiat system. Am I accurate with that?
You are. Yeah.
Mike, what does that mean?
Let me propose a noble idea for you. So just imagine, and you know about our spin-off where we have.
Can I say Coyni? Am I allowed to say that yet?
Yeah.
Coyni.
Yeah, Coyni. So imagine a world where the Coyni stock is a digital asset that lives in your wallet that you could trade 24/7 from anywhere. You don't need a clearinghouse, you don't need a broker, but you just transact on it, wallet to wallet, and you can pay with Coyni.
So here's my question, because I know where you're going.
Isn't that amazing?
No, it is amazing,
idea?
because what it does, it cuts out the middleman. You're going to make more money. There's no convolute. There's no chance for fraud. However, there's an opportunity to make money along the way, as evidenced by the current derivative market. When you borrow money from a mortgage company, even today, even after we collapsed our whole frickin' system back in 2008, when you get a mortgage, that mortgage is packaged with Mike's mortgage, my mortgage, your mortgage,
right,
and that really crappy mortgage from the guy that plays drums back there. They sell those mortgages.
Yeah, it's called CMOs.
They sell the mortgages to another company that's going to say, hey, instead of me giving you all the money, I'm going to give you 90% of the money.
Right.
So I'm getting all my money now, mostly. And now they take that and they create another product with it, which is a derivative, and then a derivative, and a derivative. And that comes from opportunity. Don't you think the opportunity is so great?
That's what collapsed Lehman Brothers.
Exactly right.
That's
And Lehman
the
Brothers
CMO
was
market.
like Lehman Brothers was Goldman. They were never going to collapse.
That's right.
But with the blockchain and digital, I believe that we're going to be there. But don't you think that they'll infiltrate it at some point with, like somebody, hey, I've got a better on-ramp for Coinbase than he does. Just pay me 5% and I'll get you there. And the trades, at some point, there's going to have to be a warrior or somebody standing up for what this really is, because you realize that this could change the way you buy homes, the way you buy stock, the way you buy cars.
Everything.
I mean, it's not just you give me $1, I give you a potato. This changes the face of our economy and all the economies of the world, which makes a global currency unnecessary. Now, what does that do to the United States?
It's true. And we're better than 50% of the way there already. The problem with that argument is that blockchain is a trustless system. It assumes that the infrastructure itself contains all of the trust verification, fraud prevention, all of that already inside
you've got all
of
the
it.
miners that are being transparent, but you're talking about the actual apparatus.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, someone has to hold the reins, but that someone can be virtual. It doesn't have to be a physical entity. And in fact, the whole design of blockchain is to get away from governments and entities and federal entities that, on purpose or by design, make continuous mistakes, right? Because they're locked into this political system that doesn't allow for deviations without cost.
Let's say I'm going to create money and I'm going to loan it to the people that own the Fed Reserve, and I'm going to charge you guys 4 or 5, 10%.
That's how the Federal Reserve works.
Of course it is. So my point is, what happens when the currency of France and the currency of the U.S. and the currency of the Seychelles Islands are all worth the same?